Good evening, everyone. I want to welcome you to the PDR Workshop live show. Tonight, we're on episode 54, and we're going to be talking about how partnering up with a local tech can benefit both of you guys. I think me and Dave have plenty of experience. I think the more years in this business, I think the ability to open up and partner up with some of the guys that you normally wouldn't eat lunch with. You can see the benefits more so than the negative possibilities. And we're going to touch on that. Dave, you want to introduce yourself like always?
David, Windy City Dent Repair out of Chicago.
And Chris, Dentless Touch, Washington, D.C. area. Now, before we get into all that, we always go over the tools. I'm going to throw a curveball at Dave. Hopefully, you guys know. Well, you should know that we are both avid readers, book readers. So, Dave, what are you reading this week? He doesn't know
Siddhartha,
about this stuff.
Siddhartha by Herman Hesse.
Ooh, well, you
Yeah,
did recommend that to me. So,
I did.
all right, cool. So, I haven't picked it up. Don't know how good it is, but it seems to be a short read. It is. I moved your cheese. So I'll let you know next week how that one is. So looks like we have Lee on here, Rally Dent Company, Sean. What's up, guys? Um, don't forget during the chat, we want to make this the most engaging show on social media. So if you have a question, comment, any of that stuff, don't forget to put it in the chat. We definitely want to bring you guys and immerse you guys into the show as much as possible, guys. So let's start on the tools, Dave. You want to go first? You want me to go first?
Yeah, I got one.
All
So I
right.
got.
What you got, Dave?
I used this double bend from A1 earlier
Okay.
this week, and it was on a Tesla quarter panel, and it was actually the perfect tool for one particular spot in the repair. And I forgot I had this. It was sitting in the back of the truck, and I looked at it and I kind of brought it to the forefront of the truck. So maybe I might need this, and I ended up using it. Um, it's a double bend rod that comes to a bullet tip. This one's 24 inches long. It's stainless steel, 3/8 in diameter. So this can fit
Mm-hmm.
through a lot of factory holes that are on a vehicle. That are typically 3/8 inch wide. Um, and it's only 45 bucks. That's the best part. It
Wow.
does have a little bit of flex to it if you are cranking on it. But I mean, for 45 bucks, this tool, I've used it for fenders. I've used it for weird spots in some doors where I've needed a double bend, but I still needed power. So I've used, I like this handle as well, but it does have some flex, like I said. So if it's something nasty or sharp, you need a lot of power, a half inch is probably going to be your best bet. This is going to probably
And the
slip a little bit.
throw on that looks pretty unique. It's better than any double bend, or it's more pronounced than any double bend. It's probably what, like six,
Yeah.
7 inches
Yeah. I don't,
of
no.
separation.
Yeah. It's definitely pretty wide or long from the end of the kick here to where it starts. So, but yeah, this A1 tool, 24 inches long. I actually wish I kind of had a longer one, maybe even thicker as well. But yeah, 45 bucks on A1 tool. Can't go wrong.
Nice. Yeah. Definitely 45 bucks. I have that same tool, but I think I have it in Ultra, and I don't know where I got it from. Like, I don't think I bought it. I just ended up with it. Maybe it was just stuffing a bunch of tools, and the guy was getting rid of. I cannot remember, but I think we all have those. That longer throw double bend. It's exact the same size, so definitely a great tool to add to your arsenal. So mine is going to be Mobile Tech RX. And what saved me a lot of time, I want to show you guys the comp pricing if you don't already have it. But I was working on the famous quarter panel, and I'll show you guys real quick. Oh, well, it's not pulling up. I'm not prepared. Anyway, so the quarter panel on the Dodge Challenger, you cannot drill. There's some access in the wheel well. You can obviously take out the tail light and gain a little bit of access towards the back of the quarter panel. But I was able to explain to the insurance company the comp pricing by viewing with this little picture icon. I was able to view the inside of the quarter panel, show the difficulties of the repair to the adjuster, and was awarded probably double what he wanted to give me for this 2 or 3 inch dent. So if you don't have Mobile Tech RX, or if you do and don't have the comparative pricing, you definitely have to jump on that, guys. That
So
will save you
the
time and energy. Go ahead.
the warranty company had a set price
So it
for
wasn't
that
a warranty
repair?
company. Maybe so it was the insurance company.
Okay.
They typically have like 150, 200. I was fighting because it was on
So
the
the
body
customer is
line.
making a claim?
So the customer made a claim. The car was dropped off at the body shop. They recommend PDR. So kudos to them. And the insurance guy said, "Yeah, no problem. Let's see if we can PDR it." And he put 150 on the sheet.
Estimator.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so I said, "Okay, well, I can't do it for 150. Here's the problems. This is what makes this job more difficult. I have to take apart, the interior to get access." And he said, "No, you don't. You can just this, that, and the third." And having that exploded view of the car, I was able to show him all of the difficulties that were attached to this repair. And he said, "Okay, no problem." And that was simple as that. I didn't think that would be that easy, but explaining yourself and showing proof is basically where what I got out of this. Using Mobile Tech RX on this situation. And this is the icon. If you guys don't have Mobile Tech RX, this is the icon on your app store. So definitely get Mobile Tech RX and use the comparative pricing to do your estimates and to show. I normally screenshot and take that picture and put it in the estimate and then send it up to the insurance companies or warranty companies. So it will pay for itself. So
Yeah,
definitely
sounds
use
like
it.
it.
All right, so let's get on to this topic, man. Like I said before, I think we've have a lot of experience networking and working together. So first, Dave, when I say partnering up, what do you think about that? Like, in what
Typ
contents do you think partnering up?
Typically, I think of just 2 technicians at a local market, working together. Usually, like, for me, when I think of partnering up, I think of it's usually a hailstorm for me, is when I'm partnering up,
Okay.
with a local technician.
So we're going to touch on, the hail side of it, the local retail side of it, the techniques, sharing techniques, territories, um, the geographic marketing ideas, and then mentorship. So those are all the things we're going to talk on and touch on and discuss. So again, if you're in the chat, feel free to comment or ask questions during the show. Dave, describe a time where you and another tech joined up that you felt was just so beneficial. It was just a win-win for both parties.
Uh, Here locally, I had a hailstorm, a pretty bad hailstorm. I think it was 3 years ago now, and
Hmm.
I actually, worked with 2 local technicians and partnered up with 2 local technicians here to help get the job done.
Hmm.
One I worked with before, and we've helped each other out and on many occasions. And then another one I actually hadn't really worked with before, but I had seen his work on Instagram and online. We've chatted back and forth, I think, through text message before, just kind of say, hey, what's up, and try to get to know each other. But we had never really, done work together. And I needed help. There was too many cars coming in. I needed, between estimating, between getting all the jobs done, aligning them all up. I needed help. So I was able to partner up with 2 local techs to help me get some of these cars out of the shop. Just
Hmm.
get them done.
Hmm.
And that was probably about 3 years ago. But I've also traveled. I mean, over to your neck of the
Yeah.
woods. With Ryan from RPS, I've traveled with him to him to help him out, and partnered up with. He wasn't a local tech, but he was, another technician who needed help at that time, and I was able to go.
Yeah. That's good. I have several situations that I can recall, but the one that was just quick, or I was just feeling too. So I was working on a hail car, but wasn't sure when I arrived. Wasn't sure what I was working on, and I normally keep my hail lights in the shop. I don't bring them with me. I don't want them to get damaged because 98% of the time we're not working on a hail car, or we get the heads up before we head out. So I'm down. I'm about 40 minutes away from our shop. And hey, here's a hail car. Can you start today? I'm like, okay, let's do it. I chiseled out, 5 or 6 hours to do this. Let's get it done. I'm working off of a limited light. I normally run two lights on the truck. So I'm working off of a 14 and then the 20-inch at that particular time. So I called a local tech that I knew was probably about 2 miles up the street, and I said, "Hey, do you have your hail light on you?" He said, I do. I'm using it right now, but we can switch." And I said, "Okay, take my 14-inch aluminum dent. I'll get your hail light." And I was able to, I think save time on that repair. And this is a direct competitor of me. He's at the dealership right up the street, and I do the dealership right across the street. So that's that's how much of a competitor that he is. But I was able to get the right tools at that particular time. And the second instance was I had a technician, and we cover about 100 miles from our main shop in Alexandria. So I had a technician that was probably about an hour and a half away from me. It was a newer guy, and he was just stuck on a dent. So I had a friend, called him up. I said, "Hey, you got some time? Are you in the area? I got one of my guys. He's kind of struggling on the dent. Can you run past there and help him out?" He's like, "Yeah, yeah, no problem. I'll run past there. I'll be there in like 20 minutes." So that's just the type of things that you can benefit from uh by partnering up. And in return, this gentleman has the keys to my shop, and he does, I would say probably about 10 retail cars a year at the shop, some hail cars at the shop, because he does not have a brick and mortar building. So I just tell him, go ahead and use mine. It's fine. It's on Saturday and Sunday. It's not a problem. So that is in one instance where we partner up and for both of us to gain in this world we call entrepreneur. so so what questions do you ask to figure out the common interest? Like, how do you select the right person to kind of have an alliance with, Dave?
I think you gotta to contact everyone. Um, you know, trying to get in touch with anyone locally, and then you just kind of have a list to choose from. Who did you click with the best? Who'd you have good conversation with? Who knew what they were talking about within their own business? Who
Hmm.
was able to actually lend a helping hand and kind of seem dependable? Um, I'd be and I've done it here. I mean, there's multiple texts that I've either just messaged on Instagram before, said, "Hey, what's up?" Um, Facebook, guys on any platform that I've messaged just to kind of get to know them to see if, hey, if I need help or if I'm in a bind, can I, rely on another technician to help me out?
So we're talking mainly on the local retail market. What about hail? Now, we are both not hail chasers, so we can only talk about it from our local hail and just linking up with guys. I think Dave, you touched on it about the hail side. What are some of the things on the hail side of this industry? Makes sense for you to do.
Well, I mean, we've had your buddy Christian, who's a hail tech, on the show before, and there was a lot of things that he was
Yeah.
able to answer. I have only done it I've only traveled one time or a couple times, but it was to the same spot, and that was for a technician who said, "Come on, I got you." And I just kind of felt like an instant connection. I kind of felt just an instant
Mhm.
like, all right, this guy's asking me to come out there. We've talked online a little bit before, and it was Ryan, and he just said, "Hey, come on out. I have work. You'll get paid." And I just went with it. Some guys aren't really in that position to kind of be that risky, but I was fortunate enough to be able to. And that's really the only experience I have for traveling with Hale,
Yeah.
and try to partner up with another technician.
Yeah, I've used probably about 6 guys at once, and it was so much a relief to be able to handle some of the work that comes in. When hail hits, you just never know what you get into, you never know how your day is gonna go, and you just
Yeah.
have a lot more curveballs. So to be able to rely on guys, that can just sit there and just pump out work, I mean, that's a tremendous,
Yeah.
benefit for
Locally,
for
I've never called anyone in from outside of the Chicagoland area. So I've always utilized local techs to help me
Okay,
out if there is a hailstorm,
okay.
or if I just need help on a route. Like if I need help, like I'm only going to use local techs.
Right.
Because I know that they know the area to a point. They know the entire area. They know how people interact. Because I mean, if I were to go to Texas, people are going to be they carry themselves differently. If I go to the West Coast, people carry themselves differently. Guys in your local area are going to understand the dynamic of how people in that area work and what they need done.
Mhm.
So that's what I and everyone here is really straightforward. Hey, I got these cars. This is what I need. This is what you'll get paid, or this is how I'll pay you, and that's that. No one really beats around the bush here, and I don't try to do that either. Try to be very upfront. This is what I have. This is how many cars. I need your help. Can you do it? Yes or no? Yes. All right, cool. Be here, at this time. If not, no. All right, cool. Let me know so I can get the next guy.
Does this happen on a monthly, weekly,
I mean,
quarterly?
so if it's hail, like we get hail, um, but it's not as prevalent in other areas of the country. So typically, the storms that I've had to work, I've been able to manage pretty much myself. The only time it does get hairy is running a route and dealing with hail at the same time. And I know we've had a couple shows on that before, but that's when it for Windy City, that's when it gets uh, pretty scary. Trying to run the route, try to take care of all the retail customers coming in, try to taking care of your dealerships and those accounts, as well as trying to run a full hailstorm out of a body shop or a couple body shops.
Yeah, that's pretty difficult for anybody to do. I mean, you just pretty much get double the work, triple the work almost like overnight. It's it's kinda
Yeah,
scary at this in the same sense. Yeah, on the hail side, again, yeah, I just utilize them, to just help cover some of those, accounts that have 5 or 6 or 10 hail cars that just keep coming in. Uh, I need a guy that doesn't have to answer the phone, doesn't have to do billing, doesn't have to do any of that stuff. They can just keep tools in their hand and just keep pushing. So that's one way that we kind of create an alliance. The guys tend to wear, our uniforms and stuff like that, and then we have like a go-to, guys. Like so, after they work with us, we pretty much link up, and then if there's another storm, I kind of call them first because I'm comfortable with them. I used to them, and they're used to me. They know how I pay. They know some of the deals. I don't have to, reinvent the wheel with those guys or, re-explain different things. So that's good. I remember the days, Dave, where you see another dent guy on the line, and you kind of wanted to, steal his light or something, and now it seems like there's more of a connection when you see a dent guy. It's a lonely job, so you're 9 times out of 10 eating lunch solo. So to be able to see someone in the field, in the space with you, and not get offended, um, it's not new for me, but it's kind of crazy because like I said, I started with guys not really networking,
yeah,
and now it's like
same here.
that's all I want to do is network. So
I mean, it does make
Like,
it easier. It's nice to know that if you are in a bind in some way, and a lot of us out here are, quote unquote solopreneurs, and it can be
oh
hard
yeah,
sometimes
for sure.
juggling everything, juggling, home life, work life, all your accounts, customers calling, getting estimates out, billing, accounting, running a business. It's nice to always have a couple guys in your back pocket that that will be there for you if you need it. If I
Yeah, they
go on
just
vacation, they'll be there to cover, or they can, I can ask them if they can cover. If the schedule's super, jam packed and there's a customer that, maybe it's either in my service area, but it's kind of on the opposite side and it's closer to another tech that I know. Sometimes it's better off than, giving that customer to another guy who could take care of that customer in a timely manner, rather than you trying to juggle things around to kind of fit someone in who's being very adamant about getting their debt removed. um
so I know we're
eh,
talking a little. I'm sorry, Dave.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I said I know we're talking a lot of positive. We don't want to make it seem like there is any negatives. I really don't have anything that comes to mind. Dave, you want to speak on any of the negatives? Anything come to mind?
I haven't had any experiences negatively with actually partnering up with a local tech.
Yeah.
I've met local guys who I just didn't click with. Maybe, just the conversation wasn't right. And I just don't know if I could fully trust them
Okay.
to be able to take care of what I need taken care of at a certain moment in time. But for the most part, a lot of the guys that I've come in contact with, at the end of the conversation, hey, call me if you need anything. You know,
Yeah.
uh, if
Yeah.
if you need help, let me know. Uh, Not too long ago, actually, right after MTE, one of the guys from here that you had met, Martin, he he said, when you
Hmm.
get back, what do you got going on? And I was able to actually help him out with one of his dealerships. When we got back
Yeah.
from MTE, he had, I think it was like 150 cars getting delivered. It was like 100 something cars getting delivered, and he knew he couldn't tackle it all himself. So he asked me to come out, and we're technically competitors and we're in a very close proximity to each other, but I was able to, get those cars done for him.
Yeah. And I was in that conversation. Well, not in it, but I heard the conversation. I mean, he was not necessarily begging, but he was really asking you to come help him, man. Like he was relief when you said yes. He was, thank you, yes, please, thank
I
you.
said, I'll be there. I'll be there.
And
And so I was able to help him out. And yeah,
yeah, man.
it was
Yeah, and
nice.
then we ate dinner together and all that stuff, and then this is what happens. They've got 150 cars to do. So let's talk about the techniques, shared techniques. Learning from the guy that you network with, that you link up with, that you create an alliance. Have you picked up any crazy skill, or how have you used more of the technical side of it with the guys that you network with, Dave?
What do you mean?
And I feel like I'm asking you more questions.
That's fine.
So basically, for me, I have a gentleman, the same guy that has the keys to my shop. He works at Toyota,
Okay.
and so anytime I have a Toyota, I need to tear down something or order parts or anything like that. I give him a ring and say, "Hey, how do you take this door off, or how do you take this tail light? Does it just pop off? I don't want to break it." And he normally gives me some feedback on how to properly take things off, or how to gain access, little stuff like that. Or I say, "Hey, is the laminate glass in the new Prius?" Yes, it is. Oh, okay, all right, no problem. And so he gives me that inside scoop. I know he does Toyota, he does the GMs and stuff like that. He does the BMW dealerships. So when I get stuck, I can call different people. Richard Dent Masters, I can call him. He works on Mercedes pretty much every day. I can call him and say, "Hey, I got this car. How do you gain access to?" Oh yeah, you go through here, this, that, and the third. And if anything, he can walk over to the body shop and just send me a picture of one with the door ripped off of it or something like that. So
Yes, a lot. So yes, when you say technical side, yeah, a lot of the techs here that I work with, I'm able to, if I don't know something, I'm able to call on them. I got a buddy Nick; he's actually sometimes here in the chat. Big Lexus account, so he knows Lexus is pretty much like the back of his hand. And then Jeeps as well. He, knows fairly between all the models, the different access
okay.
points at where you can't, like on a compass quarter panel, it's super tight and you can barely get access and stuff like that. Um, So yeah, I mean that's a huge benefit of knowing a lot of the local guys and partnering up with them. You learn a lot of different skills from them. They're going to have a different way of either doing things or just knowledge about certain vehicles that you can kind of learn from, which is going to be nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest advantages for the more of the local guy, linking up, gaining that, just working with each other. You can see kind of how fast where you're at, some of the techniques that he uses. One of the guys asked me, "Hey, you work at a fade board. Can you show me how to read fade?" Because he worked in line. And so I was able to show him how to read fade and jump back on a hail car 7 months later. He's gotten a lot better reading fade. That's all I know. So now I'm switching up. Hey, how do you do the lines? I have an understanding, but let me make sure I'm doing it correctly. And he's showing me how to read lines so I can be versatile in that, because I think there's a time and place for each one of those methods of seeing your debt. So that is like 100% positive for me. David sounds like it's 100% positive. It's a go. Like you could, I mean, you can, especially if like a 10, 15 year tech. I think Martin said, "Hey, that Maserati door, Chris, you didn't have, I probably would have called him and said, "Hey, what's the trick?" I didn't know he does the Maseratis a lot. So next time I know, I'm gonna call Marty and Martin and get some information from him. So let's talk about the territories. How can just having a friend, having a person in your corner help you with the territories?
I mean, I've had
Have you
customers.
used that?
Yeah, I mean, I've had customers that either I couldn't get to. I mean, just having another guy to call, it's almost like having another tech, on your business, but they don't work for you directly for you. But if you have
Mhm.
this person that you can, partner with in your territory, um, either retail customer, body shops. Like I've had body shops covered by local techs. No big deal. You charge it, take 100%. For me, it's not about making money off someone. It's about my account being happy. And if I'm not able
Mhm.
to actually get there at that moment in time, if whether I got hung up on another repair, traffic, so be it, um, or whatever it may be, having that other technician who might be able to go ahead and swing over there for you is huge. I've done it for a couple of techs here, and I know I've had that vice versa where I've called on a couple guys before to take care of things uh, if I've needed it.
Yeah, definitely. Use the exact same techniques in certain circumstances. Obviously with these WEOs and just immediate deliveries that they're trying to get these cars out. You got to do what you can, improvise. You can't be in all places every time. So, but I use a lot of the territory side of things for customers kind of just not going into their zone, maybe not advertising into that area, because it makes no sense for someone to pay. I mean, Google probably would not allow, like me to say this, but it makes no sense for you to spill over advertising into someone else's kind of area. At least for me, that person is going to probably go to the local tech, not so for the someone that's advertising. So it's a waste of money. I see people from 150 miles away in Baltimore advertising in Washington D.C. No one is driving to Baltimore from Washington D.C. to get dent repair. So it's a waste of money. So being able to just call that person, say, "Hey, whoever's doing your ads, they're just trying to get you calls and they're not making sense." He's like, "Yeah, I noticed this, that, and the third." So I use territories. I stay out of different areas out of respect. When I know that he particularly, or he or she, I mean, if they are at a dealership or at a buy shop and I get a call, I will tend to call the dent guy and say, "Hey, what's going on here?" They're calling me, and he's like, "I'm out of town." I told him just call you. I'm like, "Oh, okay, let me run over there and take care of it for you." So I think we have this mutual agreement where if they call, we'll still go, but we kind of want to know what's up, because it could be simple as, "Hey, man, they're not paying me, so I'm not answering the phone." So that's something that I could watch out for and say, "Okay, I need a credit card before I leave." So that's kind of how I use, like, not necessarily territories, just respectful kind of zones. And it's been working. I think we've had this kind of alliance with other dent guys for the past, I would say, 6 years, and it's really been paying off. Both parties, and actually all four parties, have been able to grow in their own little area without any issues.
What um what are some things that you make sure happen when you and another local technician partner up, and it comes down to getting paid?
You mean like if he does a job and he has to pay me and stuff like that?
Yeah, or vice versa. If you getting paid, what are some things that need to kind of happen for a technician, two techs to work
Eh,
together, and get paid properly
well, I
and
think you
feel
just have to
comfortable
trust
about?
that person. Yeah, I think you just have to trust that person. Normally when I do stuff like that, we pretty much just, if it's nothing crazy, we're pretty much just write it off. The gentleman that I'm kind of most friends with, a competitor, we pretty much just write it off. He says, "Hey, run to a buy shop. It takes me 20, 30 minutes. It's okay. I'll use you in another instance. It's fine. I don't do the nickel and dime. Well, it's $50, $100, it's $200. We don't have really time for that. When I do my training, he comes over, he helps out, he helps me on, and it's just I don't do that. When it comes to hail, or if I send a technician out, uh, that's kind of on the fence, that maybe is not a long term friend, then I pretty much just throw a check right in the mail as soon as after he does the repair. He doesn't wait on money. He doesn't do anything. I normally don't haggle him, or I don't haggle people. So if he says, "Yo, that's 150 debt," and I know I can't charge $150 just because of the deal. At the end of the day, he ran out there. It is what it is. If that's what he wants, that's what he feels is fair. I don't know what he may have to make 2 or 3 cancellations to get that done. I don't know. So I give him what he needs, and then, hopefully I'm still profitable. But normally it's a one-time thing. It's not like I'm gonna keep using the guy. Now, as far as hail, we come up with a solution because those guys can really, really rack up a bill. So we come up with a solution up to a certain amount. So I pay up to a certain amount, and then after that, you just have to wait a little bit, but I pay weekly on hail. So that's just me. I know other guys just do not pay weekly. That's just insane. But I pay weekly up to a certain amount, and the amount normally can get them through probably for the month for sure. And then that after that they have to kind of wait for the money. Did that
Yeah.
answer your question, Dave?
Yeah, definitely. And just the way I do
Okay.
it, if when it comes to hail and I have a technician help me out, depending on the workload, if I've had them do 2 or 3 cars, I'll give them 100% just for the help. I mean, it's fine with me. I would rather you take exactly what you've worked on, you help me, and then it's going to be better for the long term. Just basically not be greedy, and it's going to be better for that long term relationship, knowing that they got paid 100% on those couple cars. Now, if it's a full storm and we're working together for weeks and weeks, now we're going to be talking percentages. But a lot of times, if they're coming to help out and I have 15, 20 cars to do, and they need to help me out with 4 or 5, here, take the 4 or 5, and I'll take the 15. At least those 5 are done. And then if I've
Right.
had a local tech take care of either a retail customer or a body shop, I typically they just take 100%. You bill them, they'll pay you. A lot of my accounts pay on the spot with checks, so they'll pay you on the spot. And the ones that don't, I can bill them. I can mail you out a check or however we need to work that out. But yeah, a lot of times when people partner with me, I've had them just take 100% of whatever they worked on, because I value the relationship a lot more than the actual money. I value the relationship with the local tech. I also value that relationship with my accounts, and they're happy and that everything got done in a timely manner.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Before we go any further, guys, if you can just kind of slide your mouse over to the thumbs up and just give us a thumbs up. It really helps us out with, I guess, some SEO and all that good stuff. Maybe it just looks good with a bunch of thumbs up. I don't know. But hey, that helps us out. I appreciate it if you guys can just slide your mouse over there and give us a little thumbs up, please, guys. All right, so let's switch gears. I know we were talking about like partnering and this. Have you, well, before we switch gears, let's talk about the mentorship. Would you take somebody under your wing that's somewhat in your area that maybe is new to the PDR industry, maybe a new tech? Um, will you take somebody under your wing, and like, what will be your boundaries of like what you will share with him? I guess,
If I had a local
or how
tech
would that
who
work?
was
Yeah.
say like a green tech, and he
Mhm.
wanted some tips and some pointers. Um, Man, I mean, that's tough. You're at that point, it sounds like you're building your competition. Um,
Yeah.
Tips and tricks and pointers, through text message or video. I feel that that is, very helpful, and enough help for someone who is trying to build something on their own. But if they're trying to build it on their own and looking for handouts, like, you just got to recognize that someone's looking for handouts. If you
Yeah.
could see that they're willing to do research and work on their own and build their business, and take the necessary steps to build their tool arsenal to, maybe get a commercial vehicle instead of, their personal vehicle. Um, yeah, they're going to become your competition. So, you know, man, that's tough. That's a tough question. There's definitely going to be boundaries. I just don't know what that would be. Like, I would have to kind of feel that whole situation out to see,
Yeah.
like, hey, when to stop. But I think with messaging, just video stuff like that, tips and tricks on how to access something, or maybe, how could I have done this one better? I don't think see any problem with that.
See, I have I have a lot of success helping the smaller guys. Now, I kind of think about not wasting my time. So again, just finding that person that will invest the time and the tools, the knowledge. If I say, "Hey, go on Dent Trainer or get this tool and try this, and this is what you need," and they come back with it, I know that he is in it for the long haul. He's going to make a career out of it, and I rather watch him grow, with him and grow with him than to, just kind of always be wondering what he's doing. Like, oh man, he's kind of made an enemy out of somebody. Cause I just don't know. I don't know how people would take it. I rather help. That's just me. That's what I have a body man that actually chased hell for 2 years. And he doesn't know how to do like big dents. And he came to the PDR workshop, local guy. He is 4 miles from my shop, and I kind of was hesitant. I'm like, man, I'm not going to get that body shop anymore. They literally have a tech that's a bodyman that's right there. His tools are all set up. He has a nice little carbon tech hood stand always set up in the back. So, but anyway, I still get the hail cars. He respectfully, he said, "Hey, I do body work. I know you're trying to make a living. Thanks for your tips, but I will not step on your toes for what you're trying to build here. And if anything, we'll link up if I'm trying to do something in this area." So
What
I
happens when
appreciate that. I
if he
think
takes an account?
I mean, it is what it is. I feel like I offer more value than just in the technician's side or just a little
You would take it as a
advertising.
as a sign of I was lacking. That means
Yeah, of
I was doing
course.
something
Of
wrong.
course. Of
Got it.
course. Yes. Yeah. And I kind of, Dave, my angles, I know we're just talking on the show, but my angles are like completely different. There's building the trust, there's building, that relationship with the dealership, providing the, correct price for what they need though. If they need a guy there every day, then that's gonna be a different price than someone that wants to pile up all their cars and once a week. So just honing into what they need. And if they see more value into the next guy, it is what it is. I did my job wrong. You're right. So, but I love giving back. I love and that's just it. I think we're really good technicians. I feel like I'm really experienced technician. So, I don't think I'm gonna ever not be working. Like,
Yeah.
so that's not like a big problem for me, just because I've been in this area for 14 years. It's not like he can just go, "See you later, Chris. You're no longer pushing dents." Like that just
Yeah.
can't happen. A lot of
I
guys complain, "Man, I've been in this area for 20 years," and it's like, well, you don't have a website. You mad at the guy that went out and got a website. You messed up, not him. So anyway, but that's kind of my thinking. Yeah,
I think one of the like, for me, one of the key factors is just being honest, and trying to, make sure that the
definitely.
other person you're partnering with is being just as honest. Being honest about, um the limitations of your business, the limitations of yourself. One of the I think the biggest questions that we all ask each other, well, are you busy? It's kind
Yeah,
of like, what are the like,
yeah.
are you busy? And a lot of times, some guys are like, yeah, I am, when they're really not. Or, no, yeah, it's
Mhm,
crazy, but it's really not. And I think just being honest about what you really have going on, um, will come across as you being honest, and then maybe allow that other person to open up a little bit more on where they may need help. But, if you're not as busy and someone thinks you always are, they may not be inclined to call you and ask for your help because they think you're always
mhm,
busy. So I think just
for
being
sure.
honest on what you have going on and constant communication, maybe with some local texts, give him a call at, once a month or once every couple weeks, a text or something like that. Say, hey, what's going on? Um, that's going to be huge. Always saying you're
Mhm,
busy may actually be uh, a negative rather than an actual positive.
mhm. Yeah, I have, another competitor that actually closed up shop. He was doing, other things. I think he was getting into, like, selling cars or something like that, or real estate or whatever. But anyway, he was able to, just pretty much give me his clientele because of the friendship that we built, because of the honesty, like you said, Dave. I didn't step on his toes. We respect each other, and we didn't badmouth each other. And there you go. He was like, Chris, just take my clients. It's fine. I'm completely out of it. I'm fine. I'm doing. I'm pretty sure it was real estate, and I was able to gain that particular area. Through the networking and building that trust with that gentleman. So there's so many beneficial things for just partnering up, networking with your local community. So if, the whole goal of this live show was to make sure that any guys that are timid into talking with a guy that they hear on the parking lot, or if you can kind of, then guys can see each other like a mile away, man. You just can be like, oh, somebody turned in that parking lot with a truck. Oh, that's a dead guy. It's like you just got this radar for them. So, but go in that parking lot,
pull
see what.
When you pull into
Yeah,
the dealership, you're not looking at the front, you're looking at the corners and like on the sides of the
yeah.
lot, in the back, and looking to see where the vendors are at.
Yeah, for sure, man. And like Brian said, friends are better than enemies, man. You will light a fire under someone to make, for that person to try to crush you. And some people will go through crazy lengths to make sure that that happens. And honestly, you don't get far by not helping. You only but go but so far. So um definitely that. So now we talk a lot about partnering and just working with each other, networking and all that stuff. Like I really feel as though, I think, Dave, that we could relate even more because I don't think this live show would have happened if we didn't network. Ryan was on the show, couple of, before, and because all three of us didn't, because we were able to kind of open our doors, network, really be honest with each other, we were able to build, 54 episodes and give something back to the community. And hopefully you guys enjoy us just yipping and yapping about different topics on this on these Q&As. But now let's talk about alliance. Like you actually merge companies. Have you thought about that, Dave? I know I have.
I can't say I have. I mean, no, I haven't. My goal has always been to be like the best, be out top. Merging with another company, um, to take over an area would be, I think, a very strenuous process. It's not impossible. There just have to be really just an open flow of communication between both partners and how these businesses are going to merge. Because I think selling your company is one thing. That's you stepping away from it totally. If someone's going to come in and buy your company, that's it. You can help with the transition process, but that's it. It's not your company anymore. Actually, partnering up and merging two companies together, um,
Hmm.
that's something that I haven't. I haven't had the experience uh, with that, but it's not impossible.
Yeah, I think it's I think it's great. Like, I think it's doable. I think that you have to understand that person that you're literally getting in a partner. You're kind of marrying that person. So I think, 2, 3, 4, 5 years of some relationship needs to have happened before that partnership actually
I
can
feel
can
like
be
partnering
fruitful.
with other services would be easier than partnering with another dent company.
I agree. I
That
agree.
is just my like that's just my opinion. I feel
Mhm.
like partnering with wheels, with interiors, with glass, uh, tint, detail. I think partnering with those other services as a local tech would be more beneficial than trying to merge two dent companies together, two PDR
I
companies
got you.
together.
So we got a couple of questions, Dave. Like Marcus said, if you start learning PDR, and what are the top tools would you buy
Hmm.
to get you going?
Let me see if I can do this. Dentile, blem door
Would you get a
tool.
dent dial from first starting out?
All right, CarePoint flat bar, CarePoint flat bar, blem door tool, eliminate glue gun, eliminate light, uh, Dentcraft aluminum hammer, a Dentcraft knockdown, uh, Dentcraft single bend, Dentcraft double bend, ultra interchangeable, probably single bend. I wouldn't do double bend. And then I'm probably forgetting something like super simple that I would want. Um,
It's so hard because 10
yeah,
is just not enough.
it's not
I
like
don't think
it's
so.
not enough.
It's nowhere near.
Like I think the
And then
double
is it just
bend from Deckcraft
rods
and the single
or
bend
is
from
it
Deckcraft are pretty much the same tool. You could probably get away with the double bend, but it won't fit in certain spots. So, yeah, I don't know. I tried.
I mean, I think we can name like 10 accessories that we use every week. So it's like
Yeah.
it's so hard to do 10 tools. But what I will say, if you go to the description, like this little kit.com, it's just an area that we can kind of bring all the tools with all the links and all that stuff.
Yeah, and a
Um
whale tail. There you go. The dentals. Yeah, and a whale tail. Number 10.
So yeah, just go to the kit.com, Dentless Touch. I think I have about 30 tools in there, 35 tools to get you
I have
going.
one as well that I'll link in the chat
And
here.
yeah, Dave has one. So
Got a couple of my videos for
uh
my route setup.
talking to Richard from Dentcraft, he recommend he said he has a kit. Most guys only use about 70% of what's in the kit. But he made something nice. He said, "My recommendation is to get with someone that is training you or mentoring you and have him kind of put together a kit with you because he's going to tell you exactly how to use those tools, the exact tools to get. And I think if you piece together your kit, you'll probably get more value out of just their basic. I don't know how much they cost now. I believe it's $2,000 kit for Dentcraft. But there's a lot of tool manufacturers. Again, you got the interchangeable tip tool. I mean, I'm sorry, adjustable ratcheting handle blem tool that I have. Do you have that, Dave?
Yes.
Or you just got you have that one? Okay, yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah. Black plague tabs, but then you also like you could use Anson tabs too because those are like there's so many variances and so many different options. I think with PDR tools that everyone kind of after trying a bunch of the different manufacturers, you start to get a feel of for what handles you like, what metal you like. But
yeah,
it's hard to when you're going with the top 10 tools. I mean,
yeah.
that's a very very hard thing to do.
Little off topic, Dave. Have you seen the John Hiley's new adjustable ratchet handle?
I have not.
Oh man, that thing looks like it has some potential.
Yeah.
I get tired of the little small ratcheting handles, and he actually has something. And I got small hands, so I don't know what they thinking. Like I could a guy
That's
with
why I
big
like
hands
that
would think
Drew's
he
Tools door tool that he has. It's
right.
got that big fat handle, and I love that thing. It just gives me power. I don't know if that's anything like
Mhm.
Hiley's or not, but
It's a little smaller, I believe. Like again, I don't have the drill tools. The closest one that I like is I have the Blim, and then I have the PDR Finesse.
which are both kind of the
So
same. They kind of fit the
they're
same
kind
in
of
the
the
palm.
same, yeah. So check that out, Dave. I'm sorry for being off topic. So I guess Straight Lines has a question. Most 2019 vehicles are laminate glass. I've seen a lot more laminate glass in these newer models now. Hopefully they're getting cheaper.
I'm
'Cause-
pushing. He says, you guys push on them or not? I'm pushing on them. I use a metal window guard from Ultra Dent Tools. That's my go-to metal window guard. It's got the felt on the back. Over time,
Mhm.
that felt does come up. I just super glue it down. But I use a Ultra Dent Tools metal window guard in two wedges,
Mm. Do
and
you
I'm
raise
pushing
the
on them.
window up? Because I know I raised the window about 3 inches,
I
so I'm
you
not
I
nowhere near pushing on the edge.
y- I'm gonna say no. I just leave it down.
No.
I leave it
Okay.
down.
And how many do you break a year, or
Last
do you break
year,
any a
last
year?
yeah, last year I broke two, two or three, three.
Okay.
No, two were laminate. One was not laminate, and I broke it.
Ooh, how'd you
Yeah,
break that one?
it was a BMW 335 rear window and or rear
Screw it.
door. And yeah, I put the wedge in there and it popped. And that was a week
Mm.
after I had broken a, I think, S550 window. Yeah, it happens,
Oh
guys. It's the nature of
man.
the business. All paid
Yeah.
out of pocket.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. It's part of doing business.
Did Brian said he sold out of those hammers, man. I'm trying to get him to make a batch of them, man. Come on. Everybody just message Dit Zone and just literally persuade him to make the hammers. So yeah, I broke two Lexus glass in the same day. I literally just left. I just packed my tools and left. It was $800 day gone. So yeah,
Nick says
that was pretty
Bentley because I have an infamous Bentley window that I broke. Uh,
bad.
it didn't break, it cracked, it spidered all the way down, and that was from not putting a window guard in, and that was very early in my career. And I learned from that point on
Mhm.
to put a window guard in, a metal window guard.
Yeah, she straight lines. If it's at the dealer, man, either tell them remove it or you take the risk. It's one or the other. You'll see a lot of me removing stuff. It's just because the customer, understands it. They don't want any of that liability. I don't want
You
that
don't either.
liability. So I just remove it and I know for sure that it's not going to be broken. So sometimes I get a faster repair with it, sometimes I don't. So, but a lot of times I'm removing the laminate glass for sure. So before we go, any questions that we missed, Dave? I know we were scrolling through pretty quick,
I don't
but do you
think
want to
so.
sum up what our discussion is? Basically for me, it's just network, be transparent, and just see where that gets you. Most likely that's going to be a positive note for you guys.
And for me, partnering with a local tech can be very beneficial, especially in times of need. As a solopreneur, or if hail hits your area, partnering with local techs, multiple local techs, can be very beneficial for you and your business.
Wes said, "Do you remove when you remove the door panel and glass, etc.? Do you do post scans?" I recently started doing that because I had a I was watching a gentleman do a pre-scan. And he said, "Hey, you're the speaker in this has been disconnected at one point," and I'm like, "You can tell that?" He's like, "Yeah, no problem. All day long." So I quickly went out and got a scanner just so I can, post scan those cars. And now we do the pre and pro scans. So that's that. Leave those up 4 inches and careful on the edges. Yes. If you can't take it out, that's my recommendation. I haven't broke one yet using that method from NoCal Dent Works. So try that out, guys. Anything else we're missing, Dave, before we head out of
That's it.
here? That's it. Well, guys, I want to thank you for joining us on another live show. Don't forget to share this if you can. Give us a thumbs up on your way out. And we appreciate all the feedback. Again, we got a couple of new things we're going to throw at throw at you guys. A couple of sponsors on the show, so we can't wait to disclose that information and all that good stuff. So,
And if
Dave,
you
you want
guys
to say
haven't,
your? Go ahead.
yeah, if
Sorry.
you guys haven't already, you could check it out. Check us out on iTunes, PDR Workshop Podcast, and go ahead and download
And it was,
that. Leave us a review. That'd be greatly appreciated.
yeah, and let us know how you're liking the PDR unscripted. That's something new that me and Dave jumped on. We really enjoy them. We enjoy making them. Little quick 5-10 minute segments. So, like Dave said, check us out on the Apple Podcast. And if you're not an Apple Podcast subscriber, viewer, whatever they call them, listener, what platform works for you for podcasts? Because we are looking to put that on another platform if needed. So appreciate all you guys' feedback. Appreciate you guys in the chat. Appreciate you guys watching us and listening in. For those that are, and we'll see you on the next show. Peace out, guys.